It is now 1:30, and I have the privilege and honor of calling the Thursday, March 5th, 2026 IT and Equalization Committee to order. I trust that you've had an opportunity to read the minutes of February 5th, 2026. If so, I'd entertain a motion to approve those.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Collins, supported by Commissioner Tillotson. Any amendments or corrections? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Same sign. We approve the minutes of February 5th. On to Information Technology Finance Report, please.
You will find your finance report in your packet. The IT Division of the Capital Fund has multiple projects open and incurring expenditures as of right now. And you will see that you have a balance available for future projects at just over 258,000. If you have any questions, I will attempt to answer them.
Any questions of the finance report? None? All right, moving along to IT report. Director Ricker.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Just give you some updates on some of the projects that we have going on. We've received the new systems we had on order for our computer replacement project and begun setting them up, and they'll be ready for deployment after that. The same goes for the judicial court computers. We've received those and began setup on those. Our M365 project, the initial implementation steps have begun. We have completed our first day of work with our vendor, which included setting up the back-end connections between our current on-premise environment and the M365 cloud. A lot of behind-the-scenes stuff that has to happen for all that to work. The next steps will be migrating our initial users for testing. These users will be accounts in the IT department to ensure that we mitigate any issues or unknowns before we move on to the other departments once that's set. And then we are also working on an AI policy. The initial drafts of the potential AI policy have been completed by the IT department and sent to the administrator's office for review. We plan on discussing the details of the policy between IT and admin for any final revisions before moving them forward to the Board of Commissioners. And if anybody has any questions?
Thank you, Director Ricker. And yes, that was last meeting, we had a lengthy discussion of the AI policy. A lot of positive aspects of it, and also a lot of negatives as well in the workplace. So I appreciate you all spending some time on that. And as the technology moves along, it's good that we have a framework to be able to deal with, because we're starting to really see some pitfalls when it comes to using it in the workplace for various reasons. Least among is individuals' security and data and information. So thank you for your attention to that matter. Any other questions of the IT report? Hearing none, I believe we have a request, item C. All right, or we can also go straight to communications. Jennifer, how are you doing today? Mm-hmm.
Oh, I forgot to flip it over. Can you hit? All right, so report is in your packet, but I'm going to cover just a few highlights. For our website for the last month, all of the stats kind of were same old, same old. There wasn't anything that stood out to me. But I did add something in here for our subscribers. I went back and watched. I wasn't able to be here for the strategic planning session, but I did watch it online. And the question came up, do we do texting? And the answer to that is yes, we do. Through our website platform, people can subscribe to items, and they can subscribe with email or via text message, SMS. They can put in their phone number and they can get those things. They can subscribe either to news flashes, the alerts coming out of the alert center, and the calendar. The news flashes are the things we probably use the most. And I'm going to show you really quickly where those show up on our website. Those are right down here. They end up on the main page. And these are things that they're not necessarily evergreen information. There are things that are going to expire. They have a time clock to them. So for Commissioner Van Dorn's community meeting coming up in District 9, that has a date associated with it. So we put the information out, and then it has its own URL here on our website, and then it exists on the front page. This allows me to link back to it from social, but then also when I do these news flashes, I can put them in different department pages, in different categories. And also for anybody that has subscribed to that category that I'm sending it out to, they get that either in their email or via text message. Um, I'm gonna skip Alert Center for a second. Calendar is also something else that exists. All of our meetings are on the Board of Commissioners calendar, and people can subscribe to those, again, by email or text. You can also download that information and add it to your Outlook calendar. I know we have a couple commissioners that do that every year when we update the meetings and add everything to the calendar for the year. They will download that file and put it in their Outlook, and then it automatically schedules them. Now, the pitfall to that is it doesn't sync. So it's when you download it, that's what it is. It doesn't, if we cancel a meeting, it comes off the calendar, it doesn't automatically come off your calendar. So you do kind of have to stay up to date. But if you sign up and you subscribe to the notifications, you do get notifications when new things push out. So for example, when airport next week got canceled, Carissa went in and updated that within Civic Clerk. That went up and then that pushed out. So if you got those notifications from that calendar, you would get notified about that. The Alert Center is something that used to be really important for municipal government, less so now. So this existed in a time before Lenaway alerts existed, or we had social media and things like that. So these were things like when we would let people know, let's say you're Madison Township and the water main is broken and you need to issue a boil water advisory, or there's, an EOC situation, we have to tell people to shelter in place and things like that. We used to use the Alert Center for things like that. More often than not, we do not use that anymore. This is really not something, and that's why that subscriber thing is pretty low. The last time we actively used it was during COVID, and that was the initial shelter in place, and I don't think we have touched it since then. I do have some other alert things I can do on the website. I can run banners and things off at the top, but that's actually not tied to the Alert Center. That's not something we choose to use. Our other communication channels that we are encouraging our residents to sign up for that, because this isn't, I wouldn't say the most robust and user-friendly way to sign up for things. As you can see, we don't have a lot of people that have signed up for these. And these are total subscribers, both email and text. Last time I looked at our text subscribers, it was a couple hundred, maybe. It's not very many. So not very many people are signing up for them. And so while we've looked at other ways to implement some text messaging with our residents, right now the demand just isn't there. We have it already. And we do put things out and say you can sign up for these. It's not really there. It's really our power users that are signing up for these. So our county employees that want to be informed when things are happening, or really our biggest users are members of the media. So when I get a new member of the media that comes into the community, or they get assigned our, county as something to cover, when I go through the introduction and things with them and get them all set up and get them on my media contact list, I also say, here, you want to sign up for these news flashes, and you can sign up either by email or by text message, because they want to know right away when something's happening. And sometimes it's something that, well, this is a story, we can work on that later, or sometimes it's emergent and they want to know right then. For social media, once again, those accounts just continue to keep growing. In March, all of our metrics were back up compared to, what we have been seeing. We saw significant increases across all of our categories, which is kind of consistent with where we've been for the past year. Our top posts in March were the wonderful tornado siren test messaging that went out. Related, I did put out something to say sign up for Lenawee alerts. That was the week before because we had a very active weather pattern that week. And I wanted to make sure that we would put that out, that people would know before we got into that situation. We had a hiring post and then the upcoming building dedication. Those were our top posts in March. And then also for the health department and Lenawee County Department on Aging. Health department accounts aren't growing as much as they used to be, which I'm taking as a positive sign. We don't have any outlet, pandemics happening or any other communicable disease issues. So no environmental health issues. We're going to take that as positive. The one account that is growing, accounts that are growing a lot are the Department on Aging accounts. All of the senior centers have Facebook pages and Daybreak has a Facebook page. And I think each month we continue to get more and more followers on all of those pages. Their top posts were the activities happening within the senior centers. And then last month, the deputy director of the Department on Aging visited Washington, D.C. and interacted with some of our representatives, and that post also got a lot of traction. These are our video views on Facebook. Most of these are our live meetings. And constant contact, much of this is much of the same. Our numbers are back up to where they usually were. The other thing that I wanted to show everyone is one of the things I've been working on over the last year is the Veterans Affairs Department wrote into their grant last year for what they call a website. It's really a website within a website. We call it a department header. It used to be when you went here and went to Veterans Affairs, there was just one page there that basically had their contact information, their office hours, and kind of talked a little bit about what they did. Now they have an entire website within a website. So this up here is just our county logo that says Veterans Affairs, and the menu up here has changed. And all of this is just Veterans Affairs, and we built all of this content in here. So for example, under local benefits and services, if you were to go to discharge and military records, these are things that apply locally. And then on every page, we have the contact information if they needed more information. You need to know more about burial benefits. All of that information is there. If you need to know about your local healthcare options for veterans, all of this is here and linked back to all of these clinics, as well as some additional options. If you go into this connections section under organizations, we have options for housing. Here are all the housing options that will help veterans in need. Here's all the food assistance. And a lot of this is information. The goal of putting this on here, even though it was a lot of work, is they get a lot of phone calls for all of this. They get a lot of people that come in, and there's a lot of paper that is exchanging hands. And to make it easier on both our residents and staff to be able to put this on the website for when people call and they say, I need help with food, instead of telling them to come in the office and pick up the brochures that they have that are also constantly changing and being updated, and you have to print new ones, we can point them to the website and they can get information. So when there is a change, we can update it immediately. So that got launched this week. I'm very excited that that is finally done. And that is all I have.
That is an absolutely amazing report, Jennifer. Do other counties have that information on their websites?
What the veterans?
Yeah, the veterans.
It depends on the county. So anybody that has an office usually has what we had before, which was a department page, right? So it has their office hours, their contact information, things like that. As far as this with a built out, department header and all the menu options and all of the things like this is a rarity for Michigan, I would say. There are some that are a little more robust, like Oakland County, Livingston County, counties that are a little bigger than us. They have a little bit more information than we used to have, but we by far have more information than they do now.
And what about the food assistance? Is that commonplace to be on?
No.
All right, well, that's terrific, and because you see all the different Facebook groups and stuff, and people ask those questions, so to have one convenient electronic place to send them to is outstanding. So great work by your department and Lenawee County government in its entirety. Any questions of Jennifer? Hearing none, thank you so much. All right, now that we're done with communications, equalization report.
So all the boards of review have adjourned and I've received all the information from all the jurisdictions. So we have that equalization report should be presented to the Personal Ways and Means meeting on Tuesday. I'm working on the millage reduction fractions for the 4029s to be going out. Our studies, I'm trying to create that database so that I can get all the units, but now I'm just merging the standalones with our live database. And so then after that, then I'll start that studies database. I'm hoping to do rollover before I leave to get the new 27 assessing database and the 26 tax database done. Letters are going out right now for the units that we do the assessing for the sales from January through March, so that they can get those done for our land values and ECFs. And that is all I have.
Any questions of the equalization report? So is this your last IT and equalization committee meeting that you're gonna go to?
This is my last.
We expect that you do come on occasion, try to find a seat in the audience and sit in on these. You don't have to, don't offer your, so, well, thank you for your service. You've been doing this for quite a while and you probably deserve and probably want a break after a while, so thank you for your service for all these years. All right, on to other business. Is there any other business before us today? Any other business? Seeing none, we've arrived at public comment period. Is there any public comment? Is there any public comment? Last call, is there any public comment? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to adjourn. Motion by Commissioner Collins, supported by Commissioner Tillotson. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Well, same sign.